From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White. Some MPs who want to see Prime Minister Justin Trudeau step down as Liberal leader are calling for a secret ballot on his future. 24 MPs signed a letter asking for Trudeau's resignation. British Columbia Liberal Patrick Weiler says a secret ballot would show more MPs saying it's time for Trudeau to go.
Had that been the case, there would be a significantly larger number of caucus colleagues that would maybe in favor of having a leadership change.
There's no mechanism for Liberals to remove their leader against his will, and also no way for MPs to force an anonymous vote on Trudeau's leadership. A certification hearing for a lawsuit alleging anti-black racism in the federal public service has begun in Toronto. The hearing will determine whether a group of black public servants can proceed with a class action suit against the government for discrimination. It could last up to 12 days. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says if his party forms government, he'll scrap the federal sales tax on new homes sold for less than $1 million. Housing Minister Sean Fraser criticizes the plan to pay for the tax cut by abolishing other federal housing programs. A new report from Food Banks Canada shows a grim new milestone, recording more than 2 million visits to food banks last March. That's nearly double monthly visits from 5 years ago. Canadian Press reporter Cassandra Sklarski says the report calls on the government to help immediately.
There are several measures that they're hoping that they can pull to help people make ends meet. One of them is rent assistance, and another would be a monthly payment to low-income groups to help offset rent and the cost of groceries.
The report's annual survey of food bank use in Canada says rapid inflation, housing costs, and insufficient social supports are driving poverty and food insecurity. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew has honored first responders for their actions after a fiery bus crash on the Trans-Canada Highway last year that killed 17 people. Kinew awarded 134 responders the Order of the Buffalo Hunt.
What you did that day represents the best of this province. Stepping into action without second thought, running into a situation where you didn't necessarily know all the parameters of what you were dealing with, and putting the collective good ahead of your own personal considerations.
The bus was carrying seniors to a casino when it crossed into the path of a semi-trailer. Canadian music star Shania Twain is set to perform at next year's Calgary Stampede. She last performed at the Stampede in 2014. The 2025 Stampede runs from July 4th to 13th, with Twain's performance scheduled for July 5th. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the World Series shifts to Yankee Stadium tonight for Game 3. New York hopes the change of scenery will pay dividends after the Dodgers won the first 2 games of the best-of-7 series in Los Angeles. In the NHL tonight, the soaring Winnipeg Jets host the stumbling Toronto Maple Leafs. The Vancouver Canucks host the Carolina Hurricanes. The Edmonton Oilers visit the Columbus Blue Jackets, while the Calgary Flames visit the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Dave Dickenson will return as head coach and general manager of the Calgary Stampeders in 2025, despite the CFL team's worst season in 2 decades. Stampeders president Jay McNeil says Dickenson deserves a chance to right the ship.
He's earned the right and the opportunity to turn this around in 2025, and he has our full support.
Quarterback questions surround Calgary heading into the offseason as Jake Maier's contract expires and the Stampeders didn't start him 2 of the last 3 games of the regular season. From the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.